Hey guys, today we are near Abernathy Farm, and I used the Conquest mod to put together a scavver settlement inside one of the electrical towers that, surround the farm. Now, as I was editing today's video, it became clear it was going to be well over 40 minutes. So I went ahead and split the video in half. Today we're going to have the tour, and then in the next day or two I'm going to release the actual build portion. Now, there's a lot of really cool stuff that I put into this build, and I'm excited to share it all with you. So let's get on with the tour, shall we? Here we are at the entrance to the scavenger settlement. And you can see right off the bat we have a guard there, as well as a machine gun turret, always keeping watch. I really love the junky feel to the place. It really does have a very improvised look to it as well. Now, this tower is actually going to be part of a much larger settlement that I'll be building here. As far as location goes, it's right near Abernathy Farm, and I have a mod installed called Build Higher, which actually greatly increases the build area for Abernathy Farm, as well as this Conquest Settlement. So it stretches from the far side of Abernathy Farm all the way down to the road here. That's to the left of this tower now. So it's a huge area. I believe it's even bigger than Starlight. So this is going to be a pretty good sized settlement. And you can see, scavengers having set up this settlement. There's going to be a lot of junk laid around on the outside of the settlement here that they've, drugged back here so they can break it down for components. You can see a scavenging station there. Looks like they built a pretty nice dwelling out of that semi-truck. I really like the turret with the sandbags there, on the underside of the cab. I think it looks really cool. And of course we have a little seating area with some meats drying. And then over here we have a tiny little shack. I figured some of the scavvers that are not, as well off or successful as the ones who live inside the tower will, live on the outskirts and the outside. So as I expand the tower, I'm going to build more of these little shacks here. Looks like he's doing okay for himself, but certainly not as comfortable as it is on the inside. Then over here we have another little junk pile. And it looks like the techie guy who lives here was able to get one of those solar panels working. Get a little electricity for the place. Of course we have some dogs and another turret up there. A lot of enemies around. This place has gotten attacked by super mutants a few times while I was building, so... And over here we have a little bit more storage, and of course a little fire there on either side of the entrance just to light your way and guide you, to some safety. And here we have another machine gun turret. Can't be too safe after all. And then we always have a guard on duty here, just to make sure not anyone can just waltz in here and set up shop. I really do like using those sandbags. They just, well, if you're familiar with any of my other videos, you're probably aware of that. Now coming along over here, we have a little seating area. Looks like we have a fire and some meats ready to be grilled. And of course there's some fruit and potted meat, as well as some beer sitting around. You gotta relax. Now going around this corner, we have our main workshop area. And the group of scavvers that, set up this settlement, they're kind of a tight-knit group, at least the ones who live in the tower. And so a lot of the things here are going to be communal, like the scavenging stations here, as well as any of the tools they might need. So you can see here we have somebody working on some ceramic, as well as Little storage area for some little bit of weapons and some tools there. That looks really good. I love how junky it looks. You're probably going to hear me say that a lot during this tour, but I am super happy with the way this turned out. Now coming into this shed here, we have some of our more valuable scavenging stations. You can see a little bit of munitions and supplies there. And then we have some metal work going on, as well as nuclear material. It's very useful in the Commonwealth here. Now, I also tried to keep things pretty cramped in this settlement. I think it kind of amplifies the, I don't know, the junky feel to it, and kind of like it was put together without a lot of thought. I really like just like the way it feels when things are a little really tight. You can see the Junktown poster there. I thought it really fit the theme of the settlement. And I really like the mix of materials here. So we have the shipping containers with the metal pieces as well as the wood. It all kind of just lends itself to being scavenged. Now in this container here we have our tech guy's workshop. Now this is more of a private workshop, so you can see he has his own tools. Looks like he was able to scavenge from a vault there. More components and a lot of tech. You can see different circuit boards on the table back there, as well as a robot in the corner here. And he's just working away. Now going down this alleyway, we have a capsule at the end. And you can see there we have some food storage and a little bit of fertilizer. I think this place needs a little bit more decoration. I'll have to add that before I do the final tour of the upgraded tower. Now in the back here we have another, or well, not another, but we have our first sleeping area. You can see some Nuka-Cola, a few comic books laying about. Of course you gotta have some weapons. You know, Commonwealth's a dangerous place. You gotta be able to protect yourself, especially when you have this scavenging area that potentially has a lot of valuable scrap for people to come and take. Now outside to the right here we have a small garden. You know, it's a little bit easier to not always have to scavenge for your food, so you're going to grow a little bit of stuff. Not 100% necessary for everyone here. With Abernathy Farm so close, you can probably trade. But this group of scavengers really tries to be self-sufficient, so they will produce enough food for everyone who lives inside the tower at least. I really like the upside down truck there. I don't know. It just looks really cool. And that dog glitches out constantly. So just, you know, be prepared for that. He's going to disappear and reappear all over the place. Now let's head up above the tech workshop. And we have the second dwelling. Now this is for the techie. And you can see here he has a disassembled mini nuke, as well as a circuit board there that he's working on. Of course, plenty of mentats for that intelligence boost when you're working on some of the more high-tech stuff. And of course, the gun he has is a laser rifle. Now on this mid-level here, we have our workshops. So straight ahead we have a armor workshop as well as a weapons workshop. And you know, you got to put together some stuff for protection. And then over here we have a disassembled 10mm pistol as well as a little weapons workbench there. Now that comes from Creative Clutter. They have these little mini workbenches, and then I just use Place Everywhere to put that hunting rifle inside the grip there. And of course on the table here we have more weapons to be worked on, as well as some finished weapons on display. And we get a little bit of a look at what the middle of the tower looks like. I really like the rope bridge there. Now I can't take that idea. That came from Stacy over at Stacy Plays. That's just a brilliant idea, and you can actually walk across it too, which is pretty cool. I showed that off in my Murkwater settlement as well. Now walking along the path here, we come across the dwelling that was put on top of the truck. Again, it's kind of cramped, but I really like that feel, especially for this settlement inside the tower. Just, I don't know, it's fitting. You can see this guy has a few caps there, as well as, well, a little bit of chems. The buff out probably helps with dragging stuff back to the settlement. And then, of course, a pipe pistol, and looks like we have a whiskey fan. And then the view out of his makeshift window there. So finding ways up and down the tower were a little bit challenging. So I figured ladders are probably going to be the best. And there's this ladder there made out of conduits, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, that also comes from Stacy over at Stacy Plays. A lot of good ideas on that channel. Over here we have some reading materials, as well as a few plants there, and some alcohol, of course. Lonely Nuka-Cola, a little bit of Jet. You know, it is the apocalypse after all, and Jet is very helpful. Then of course we have some junk furniture. That's from Thematic and Practical. Now this place in particular is really cramped. But again, with space at a premium, and you know, they have to scavenge all the materials to build everything, cramped kind of fits. A better view of the rope bridge there, and of course a nice view outside of the tower. Now over here we have a little patio, and looks like there's a card game going on. And of course some noodles there. And now we get to walk across the rope bridge. Now it's going to be a little bumpy, and the NPCs will not navigate this, but it still looks pretty cool. And that brings us to another dwelling. Over here we can walk down this hallway, and I really like how the metal kind of wraps around the side of the electrical tower, and it just kind of, I don't know, makes it feel like it's hanging on. And it's also really cramped in here too. It's a pretty nice sleeping area. Now this guy has a lot of chems. He's actually the resident chem manufacturer. So we can see here, there's chems in the cubby, chems on the little table he has there, as well as lots of plants for making chems. And of course a shotgun for protection there. And then here's our chem station. Now both of those are actually chem stations, and they also come from Creative Clutter. And then I just kind of put a couple of plants and little bits of Jet on the table there, as well as a healthy stash of other chems and chemicals there for making chems. It's so cramped here I could barely turn around, so I just kind of back out. And again, that good mix of wood and metal, along with the rusted sides of the electrical tower, it has a really nice look to it. Here you get a better view of the Kems in those cubbies. And if you can see there, he has a little pipe pistol on his bed. He might be a little paranoid. It's probably the jet. Or maybe the psycho. And out here we have another little seating area. A little more private. And of course you have a great view outside the tower there. Now over here we have another ladder. And I believe that comes from, I want to say Homemaker. I'll go ahead and link all of the mods I use in a Google Doc in the description. And here we are at the final dwelling. And this is our ammo maker. Now before we explore this room, let's take a look at her patio. That's out across this little bridge here. And it's kind of a smallish little seating area, but this one's really private, not easy to get to, and looks like we have a little checkers game going on. Some beer, of course. Seems like everybody likes to drink in the Commonwealth. And look at that view. That's just gorgeous. You can kind of see some of the structural elements there. That's just stacked on top of everything underneath it. Almost looks like one of those capsules that they were able to scavenge and put on the ground floor. Now to explore this room. Lots of weapons. Lots of ammo. Looks like we have someone who likes explosives. Got some landmines stacked. Probably not very safe. Of course, some Molotov cocktails there. And another good view. Complete with a sniper rifle, just in case you get woken up to an attack. The bed actually comes from Thematic and Practical. I believe I used Thematic and Practical for all the beds here. And Northland Diggers is where I got a lot of the scavenging stations. Like this one in particular actually produces ammo. So you just come by every couple of days and can collect whatever ammo they've had there. Or the nuclear material from, you know, some of the other ones. Now walking out here, we can go upstairs and check out the final area in this build. Now again, I do plan on making this tower much taller, in which case we're going to have a couple more lookouts, but as of right now, this is the main lookout. And we have our ammo builder, or ammo maker, on guard duty. You can see a couple of weapons sitting up here, just so if you run out of ammo, you just drop the weapon you're using and pick up the next one. Some grenades there. Probably be pretty effective, and very little risk for using grenades up this high. Of course, you have some beer and food. I imagine you'd be on guard for quite a bit of time. And what a great view. All the way around. You can see pretty far. If you look closely, you can see the red rocket there, really far in the distance. And then, of course, Abernathy Farm. Yeah, I'm going to build up this whole area around all of Abernathy Farm, as well as all of this Conquest Settlement here. So that's going to be a lot of buildings, a lot of different structures. And when we come around this side, I believe the build area goes all the way out to that truck there, which is pretty huge. So I figure I'll probably split it up. We'll have the farm area as well as a pretty big scavenging settlement. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. Drop me a comment down below if you have any thoughts for me. Also, let me know what you think about me splitting the video into build and tour. Subscribe if you want to see when my next video goes live. I should be back here, or I might go back to Starlight and work on that a little bit more. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and until then, enjoy your time in the Commonwealth.